This thing is no longer, the OMODION is not even lonely. OMODION is not even lonely. Where we are now.
Not only lonely, disrespected.
Children.
Sometimes they are hated at the moment. Sometimes not only lonely, they are disrespected. Because they can't live up to that expectation because it doesn't stop.
No, they can't.
It doesn't stop.
I talk about security. It's not there because now, like what you said, OMODION supposed to be provided with land, house, wife, and also be commanded. Even if then, let me use this word, even if OMODION doesn't even know how to sleep with woman or is a doegbola, ekia, no work, they will do some traditional, perform some traditional sacrifice to make sure that audio, it's just like if we go back to, this is one thing I liked about the history of Oba-Eweka the First. Oba-Eweka the First. So now, Oba-Eweka the First is that kind of person I will use as an example, that the head is the head. Oba is Oba. When the head is the head, you are not supposed to change it. No, it doesn't matter whether there is a communication issue, whether there's a disability, you're supposed to protect it. And when there is crisis, all these people are not being protected. When there is, because we have biased society now, everyone is not biased. So if OMODION is not being valued, now, I'm just telling you, viewer, this is a big argument. If OMODION is not being valued, then you are creating pressure for the Enogi or Dionwere. And if Enogi or Dionwere is not being valued, you are creating pressure for the palace. Because these people need energy. I don't know if you understand what I'm saying.
I know the point you are making. Yeah.
They need energy. Everybody deserves loyalty. They also deserve respect. They also deserve love. Just as we offer you all these things. I know OMODION is supposed to be caring for all the family.
Benin people make one parable. They will say, that means that means
they will still expect more afterwards.
So if you neglect or disrespect the gods in your own community, then when things happen, you can't go to these gods and say, come and help me locate or solve my problems. So this is the problem. To the point you are saying, if you don't respect the head, when there is problem, definitely we're still going to go there. Whether it's rich or not, we're going to go there. Whether he's the Okagbe, whether it's the Onogi of the community, whether it's the community leader, whether it's the Oba, whether it's whoever he is,
automatically,
we are still going to go there.
Automatically, sir, I think the person who disvalues OMODION or his culture and tradition or who insult the palace automatically disconnected his or her cultural citizenship. Why? Because you engage in something that doesn't have ending. And now your step, your movement will not be pure anymore, will not be simple anymore. You not start watching your back, because you've said this thing now. You've done this now, just like someone who beat OMODION up. Because OMODION is lazy. You beat OMODION up.
But let me come in here. Some of these OMODION too, they were abusing their own privilege. Some of them, yeah, let's put it, even the leaders that are supposed to, whether the Nogie, whether the Okagbe, whatever,
the land grabbing. Is it the land grabbing you are going there?
I know this land grabbing, to be sincere, I've been avoiding it for a while.
They took 2 of my land. They took 2 of my land in Benin.
Okay, luckily I haven't fell a victim to them anyway. But let's put it this way. These are what I mean. They abuse this kind of privilege. So
yes,
somebody who had done that in your community sees your land and mess up selling to other people, and then somebody is telling you go and respect him. You're not going to do that. The only thing, you might respect him by not going there to slap him because you want to respect tradition. Otherwise, it deserves to be slapped.
You know,
so
I would like us to do more of this show again, so that I'm enjoying it.
This is what the whole thing is all about. If you look at the traditional aspect of it, then we will look at the modern aspect of it, probably the law, because before the law, as they told us, we are all equal. Before the law, there is no small, there is no rich, there is no poor, supposedly, but it doesn't work like that anyway. But that is how it was created. But it says some people are abusing that privilege, and then you drop that respect for him, because this respect is a reciprocal. If you respect me, I respect you. If a senior respect the junior respect him, because it's no longer we are no longer in that age where we all serve you, and then you will now dictate how we run our life. You will now tell me who I should marry. And you know, at the moment, sometimes people will say, oh, my dad and my mom cannot decide who I marry. You see them kneeling down like a small idiot on the street, putting ring on people's hand. And in the name of, without consulting the parents of this child, this girl.
You don't have any relationship. Sir, this thing you just said now, I think is a big one. We might want to use this in the next topic, in terms of the kneeling down, because what I saw there, you don't have relationship with this lady's parents.
No.
Your parents doesn't have a relationship with them.
No.
Now, you are the person that doesn't understand culture or tradition. Maybe the person you are leaning down for the parents is a Muslim.
No, I don't want to look at it in religion aspect of it. I just feel it's disrespectful, because no matter which religion you belong or which culture you belong to. I have 3 daughters, for example.
Yeah.
Before you go and be kneeling down the street, putting ring on my daughter, I should approve that I should play a role. I'm the father. I train my children. I brought them up. So before you start putting ring, we should sit down and talk. So this idea of, this is why you see most of these guys slapping them. Because at the end of the day, you are not only disrespecting the girl, you are disrespecting the family. Because most of them, as we are still talking, there are still families who are still very trained and strong in tradition. They still respect their culture. They still respect their values.
I would like to you, without your culture and tradition, you are nobody.
Completely. Even though we are speaking,
because if you go and marry to someone who doesn't like, or the word love is a modern language, isn't it? Like and love. If you marry to someone who doesn't regard, love, like your culture and tradition, you are not going to stay long in that marriage.
You are correct, because if you look at it this way, you want to, okay, here in the Western world, I was telling my friend the other day, I said, because of this kneeling down, somebody slapping somebody, that video, we really talk about it. I said, look, somebody have to go to the national TV, even they will listen, and tell them, look, my friends, our culture is very rich. You don't know the culture of the white people because you're catching it from halfway. They have their own culture, we have our own culture. They don't do this. Because at the end of the day, look, for example, in their society, if a woman and a man is breaking up, nobody intervenes. But they have a court, a very competent court and lawyers that sort that problem out. We don't have it in our society. The court will now decide who have the custody of the children, the property, everything will be analyzed, everything will be shared, everybody sign, the 2 lawyers sign. We don't have that system at the moment. So what we have is parents, community, everybody sitting down and calling them, and that was our tradition, and it's still the best. Bringing these 2 couples together to come and, because here in Western world, in most cases they don't have second chance, because once they break up, they can't resolve their differences. Nobody is going to tell them, Peter, I can't talk your own, Cecilia, I can't talk your own. Everybody is just like, it's your problem. Go to lawyer. And the lawyer,
in a OMODION case, some extended family are not happy with your wife. So if you actually break up, if your mother has been lacking respect or value for the younger ones or care, by the time you have issue with they'll be happy.
You mean you mean now, not before?
Yeah. Now, yeah, that's what I mean. Because people believe that, especially when you are rich, when you have money, and they find out that the woman you are with, they don't have access to that money. Then, let's talk about house now. Because as OMODION, we call it Igiogbe.
Yeah.
Igiogbe. And you have this woman and children who doesn't really engage well with your brothers and sisters. So some of them look at the future. They say, hey, so because of that, so younger one actually abuse the OMODION as a result of this one. And especially when they have the bad mother that will tell them, they want their children to do better than OMODION. You see where another challenges we are having.
I think if I may come in here, you're not talking of the material interest in all, because
yes,
listen, this is where capitalism still comes in, because we are now so embedded with economic interest. Now, even the OMODION, if for example now Oni-Edigin, you have 2 or 3 houses in Benin, and you have a son. So the other ones, they know that he will get rich. Even the wife, we don't want any of his junior want to be close to her, because she will be feeling the heat of, the interest of all these things. My husband will inherit them, and they will belong to my children. So these are material interests. And the junior ones too, they're not going to be happy with you, because they know all this property. You remember in Benin, I think that these things have gone down. Remember, there used to be a time people used us to tear houses. They cut it into 2. And this passage house, which Benin people we do call a Wado house. Sometimes I've seen about 2 or 3 in Benin there. I hope it's not happening anymore. They will go and set block in the middle, especially when they are polygamous, so that the male child of this and his family, junior ones will inherit this side, and the other one will inherit the other one. They don't meet each other.
That is not Igiogbe.
No, Igiogbe, my brother, Igiogbe is not the son. Igiogbe is the house that house all the whole family.
That's what I mean. But we don't share Igiogbe, did we?
This is what I'm going. Just wait. This is the point I'm making. In the early time, it doesn't even matter. Whatever the man has belongs to the senior son. The senior son will share to the junior one as he wishes.
I think it's on tribe. Even the wife belongs to everybody.
In some part of Benin, it was still like Benin. It wasn't.
I thought it's Igbo.
Okay, I don't want to go on that, but in Benin,
I don't know.
In Benin, I can't prove it because I don't really know. But in Benin, it wasn't a right. It was based on consent. If the woman is still young, and in most cases it was always the second wife or third wife, those young wives. If the family now, the husband, the senior son now feel she's still young, and then we do some sacrifice that involve goats or whatever, I know that. And then the lady will now marry the senior son. But it wasn't really going down well. So I think everybody later abandoned that kind of a thing. So it was like that. But let us just go there. But what I'm saying is, the problem was because we were giving all these things as a right to the senior son, it was creating more problems for the senior son. It was creating problem for the senior son, because the senior daughter in our tradition don't really have access to those right to those things, because she's meant to be married and go somewhere, except there is no male child. If there is a male child, that male child is regarded as OMODION. Do you know that? Even that male child is the last child of that family. To our tradition is the OMODION, because it's a male child. He inherited all those things. And those things create enmity. Sometimes they kill him in any way they can. You see, so that was why I said earlier on that we should look at the negative aspect and the positive aspect of the old tradition and look at the positive and the negative aspect of the new tradition.
In the old tradition, that doesn't happen. You don't dare touch OMODION.
No. They do hurt OMODION, my brother. They do hurt OMODION. The only thing that
in the old tradition, I mean.
In the old tradition, yes. In the old tradition, they do hurt OMODION. Of course, they do kill him. But what they were doing was they put a lot of mechanism in place. That is why I said before, this swearing ceremony. When they know things about to happen, the senior son will now summon the whole family to a swearing ceremony. That thing always calmed them down. Of course, even this the song by Idausa, they were happening. They will take this son name to a native doctor. Sometimes the native doctor will do things. He will kill it. Instead of killing that son, sometimes must kill their own. So if they were doing it. But this swearing, even this swearing, people were still violating it. They were dying. Sometimes when they're about to die, they will now take them to ask them to confess.
But the fact is that, like what I understand about the tradition,
right?
When OMODION is no longer there, even if he died by illness, accident, or someone killed OMODION, that family will never be able to sit together in the right path.
They do. They do.
It's difficult. It is 1 in 5. Why? Because when we look at the picture and the lineage of OMODION, it's just like some people today, when they give birth to first child, whether male or female, and maybe some challenges in hospital, something happened. The father and the mother, they always have this thing to the end, thinking about it. So now when you have a child grow to a stage in the house, an individual end up taking that child away or illness, it creates a lasting effect. It normally happens in when we talk about Nogi, when we talk about Odeh, when we talk about, because originally when that child is born, the child is taken through some sacrifice, is taken through some process, and the child has been named to some extent under an oath. So now, when the child is now about 40, 50, and they now died before the father, it will be difficult, especially now, because in the old days, there was a protection then. But now, the church that we really talks about believing, because I'm a Christian, I go to church, I have these challenges of when we talk about faith. But when we go back to the Edo tradition then, there were practical faiths that protect, that secure, when we talk about security, that people believe in, that you can see it. You know, by the time that OMODION get to a stage of aging and not die before the father, it's like all those security, because you cannot automatically go to the next one now that's going to be in charge. You know what I mean? If OMODION died, the one following OMODION will not automatically, you know, because at some point you now have OMODION now coming from another woman, because the woman that gave birth to OMODION now might be only having one male, or the second child, the other woman child is older than the second child of that woman. So that is another area where conflict gets bigger.
You know, nasty. It can be nasty, yeah.
So I know, I'm not saying if OMODION is not there, things will not move on well. yes, it will not move, it will move on. But however, when you have people who are really in, just like you are talking about the British today, even in the British, Edo culture is nearly like the British culture when it comes to tradition.
Correct. Yeah.
If something happened to who's supposed to take the next throne before the queens died, the system will be gone. The system will change automatically.
Right.
You know? So these are the things we actually think is affecting our society. I think people need to be aware of the impact of not respecting our culture and tradition. I think I'm free from it. I think I never throw stone in any glass house in my state. In Edo land.
Right.
I'm happy. So when it comes to me, I respect my elders, even my family. I keep to rules. Sometimes I have argument with my older ones, especially my elders. Once the thing goes the other, I'll just disappear. They won't see me anymore. Because I don't want to say something.
There are issues you cannot avoid. That is the whole thing.
Said, yeah, but there are things you don't want to say. Or where no more barren. So me, I don't want to stay there.
You know, let me go back again. You know, in our own tradition, then this OMODION, in most cases, he was not making the last decisions. You know, they still have other kind of idiom within the family elders that always join him or invite him when he has a crisis in his soul. Because Okagbenwowa, that is what OMODION is all about. So then there is always the bigger Okagbe as well. There are
extended, yes.
Extended, yeah. So when there is crisis,
that is if that OMODION really respect them as well. Hello.
No. If he doesn't respect them, there is a problem there. They can discipline him. The discipline, they will discipline him. But if they now see that he's a very nasty human being, and then when he's having all these crises, they abandon him. Sometimes he dies in the process. Or even though he did not die, sometimes his own kingdom will collapse before him. Then that way you see all this aspect of sometimes they don't greet each other anymore, they don't meet each other anymore, they swear for each other. A lot of things happen.
Went to changing their name.
Exactly, because the senior one couldn't hold. So presently, the senior one still play a role, but at the moment, with the way things are going, because everybody now, you know, build his own life. It does not really mean now that the male child should be, all the importance should be put on the man, because most cases now the women, sometimes they are more successful than the men themselves. So.
Except they marry a Benin man like me.
Thank you. I will be directing them to meet you. So
if you did marry, if your sister is the richest in the house and you did not marry a good Benin man, you are in trouble.
You know, so this is the whole thing. That at the end of the day, the senior one being responsible also play a role, because. But another problem is that sometimes if he's not meeting up, for example, now the senior one is a bus driver, his junior one is a lawyer, and then the third one, is a journalist. The other one is a doctor, whatever. But the senior one is just a driver that sometimes has jobs, sometimes he doesn't have jobs. I'm just saying, for example.
You're talking about Nigerian driver, isn't it? Not,
I'm talking of Nigeria driver, yeah. But here you don't have a driver. Everybody drives their own car.
Me, I used to be driver in abroad, so I was very rich when I was driving.
Okay, except
I was very astute.
Except if you are delivering things for those little companies. But okay, everybody drives his own car here. Okay, yeah. But what I'm saying is that, okay, let's say mini job that is not, if it's not buoyant, let me put it this way. sometimes it will be difficult for him to stamp that authority over those big ones, except there is discipline, the organs that the parents have laid down that will make them to continue to respect him. But now, look at another problem we have today. How many of us today grew up to meet our parents? Sometimes your parents just have 1 or 2 or 3 or 4 children, they die. So everybody struggled.
Yeah, that's a sad one, isn't it?
You see, everybody with this kind of situation we are today, they're not going to be packed under one umbrella. Everybody's dispatches. So it will be very difficult if the senior one can't make it on that kind of platform to say I still have authority over the other one. If he's too lenient to them, they will call him a beggar. If he's coming and say, tell him I'm not inside, I'm not in the house. If he's too harsh on them, they will fight. So the role of OMODION today world is a bit complicated.
Anyway, let's call it a day. We have put justice to the voice from our community. I don't know how to say, those who hear, let them hear. OMODION should be respected and OMODION should be valued.
Yeah, OMODION should be, as I 100% agree with you, because OMODION should be respected. OMODION, because they look at it.
To be protected as well.
That's what I'm saying. Not only respected, should be protected, because you made, before we go, there was a time you made one, you always, when we are discussing, you talk about how you clothed one of your uncle who was really nothing. And then you make it very important. I have the same similar story. There was a senior man in my family then in the village. Whenever we go to the village then, he was a kind of a drunkard anyway. They will be telling him to drop his pint for them to see. After he's drunk, he will be doing it. Until I got home one day and I went to him and said, from today on, you will never go out and drink. Come to our house, I will always make alcohol available for you. Drink and die there, nobody's questioning you. And
nothing will happen to him. He will drink more than what he drink outside. Nothing will happen to him. If we drink, you drink outside, affect you more than
my daddy room, because my daddy was dead. My daddy's bed was free. So once he get drunk, blah, 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 they would just roll into my daddy's room. He sleep off. Whenever he wake up, he go home. If you want to eat, he eat. Don't this nonsense stop, because you have to create this respect for them as well. And the senior one, this OMODION too, whether it's a male or female, should always look back. Whether you make,
you have to.
Whether you're successful or not, you always look back.
Choice. We don't have choice.
You should always look back to say, okay, no. Go ahead.
I think someone in the international community now, maybe your parents are African, you might be listening to this. You might say, oh, it doesn't make sense. It makes sense because if you live in the UK, it might not make sense. You might not see the impact. If you live in America, it might not make sense. If you live in Germany, it might not make sense. You might not see the impact. But if you are in the land where this culture retain, it will affect you. Because then you are not having the British police, you are not having German police, you are not having the American police.
Right.
So you are in a society where the rules there belong to that community, belong to the economical community, belong to the wind, the grass, the rain. That's where the culture is. So I believe we should respect family member, especially when they are the first, because they carry the image, the surname. They also protect the values. I can present my elders now like a king.
Okay, you know? Let me just cut in here before we go. I just want to cite an example what happened recently when those stubborn children, one of them went to Benin and said our Abba should come and marry him, and the kind of expensive jokes. The Benin reacted in a very, very violent, negative way.
Yeah, why? That was the oldie days. It used to happen to OMODION.
Okay, this is what I'm saying. Why do we do that? Even myself, I put out a statement, I put out a post in regard that no, you don't do that. You don't go there.
I was angry.
You see, me and you, we had a discussion. The reason is we don't want to useless our kingdom. We don't want to make that. We don't want anything to happen to that spot. That is our OMODION. That is our OMODION. We don't want
that is
anything.
Our Edo OMODION.
Edo OMODION. We don't want anything. No matter what, we don't want. Nobody should go there.
No.
And
I don't mind being deported from the country.
The Benis are not ready to compromise that place
OMODION.
at all. So this thing should go down to every OMODION. They should be protected. They should be, whether they are rich, whether they are poor.
I can use leg to travel 1 billion miles to go and protect my OMODION.
You see what the Benin people will say.
I think they I don't need to say this. They know what happened in 1897, isn't it? They know what we. It can still happen today. We can die for our OMODION.
So it should go down. It should go down. It should go down because by the time we now build this senior one superior, before outsiders invade, they have to think twice because they know he will command it. It's just like
here. Know when you go to that house, that guy is protected. Though. Don't go there.
There was a meeting I went to here, and I told the German that if our Oba call us or with the Edo people to go to war today, we will still do. Oh, they said, oh, but that's not good. That is not good. I said, no, I am not saying we are ready to go to war, but I'm just saying, I'm just expressing how loyal we are to that OMODION. So this kind of loyalty should be shared to every head.
Of course.
Because when that head is built, when that head is respected, I think that respect will go down. But when that head is useless, my brother, even if you're the millionaire behind, you are not protecting that senior one, that family is completely useless. So I think it's enough for us to, if you see, have 1 or 2 things for us to round up today.
I think that's enough. I think I'm happy that we were able to voice our responsibility. We also talk about the pain, as you just said. It's something that we need to carry along. We need to keep protecting our home.
Right.
Even our society we belong to, if you're in Germany, if you're in America, help the society you belong to protect their culture, and tell them about yours. They will support you.
Right.
I know the British are very good at supporting international community. So as the German, I remember what the German did for B.A.R.C.O influence of the artifacts.
Artifacts, yes.
So
and they are still doing
they will support. They will support us. So don't be shy, even if you're married to a foreigner. Tell the foreigner about your culture. And if you are good, they will support you. But when you are negative all the time because you hate your eldest brother or because you hate your elder brother, because it's not just eldest now. If we talk about protecting the king, that means everybody protect whoever is older than, then that gives more security for the head, Thank you very much, sir. And I really appreciate
I appreciate you too. I thank you too. So we had a good time. So good night. And good night to all the listeners. Thank you.
Thank you all. Thank you all. God bless you. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.